The TSA has confiscated 20% more guns in 2013. I'm Bob Tuskin, and this is the Grope Report.
I wanna grope you, so I applied to be a TSA. Baby, I hope you walk through my naked body scan, and I'm taking off the gloves.
The infamous gropers of your Fourth Amendment right have confiscated 20% more guns at airports in 2013, with the Atlanta airport having the most seizures at 110, according to a new report. Well, that makes sense as far as the Atlanta airport's concerned. It receives the majority of the traffic. An average of 5 guns per day was seized in airports across the nation last year, according to a report by the Medial National Security Journalism Initiative. Some 1,800 guns were confiscated in all, making it the third straight year of an increase in confiscations. Last year also marked the largest increase to date, with a 20% jump. The initiative based its reports on publicly available data released weekly by the TSA on its blog. The agency's official count for the year will not be released until the end of the week, but it is expected to be slightly higher. The initiative concluded that at least one gun was found in 207 airports across the country, and 1 out of every 4 airports had 10 or more confiscations, with Atlanta having the most at 110. Phoenix had 65 confiscations, while Denver had 52. Of the 10 airports in the country with the highest confiscation rates, at least 70% of the seized weapons were loaded. Trailing behind was Dallas-Fort Worth Airport with 98 guns confiscated, and Bush International in Houston with 67. Nearly half of all the guns confiscated across the country were .380 and 9mm pistols. Some experts say the findings are not all that significant. Douglas Laird said if you look at the numbers, none of them are terrorists. He's an airport security expert and former Secret Service agent who told Fox News that, quote, they are people who violated TSA rules. That's right, folks. The TSA has not caught any terrorists to date. Their grand total of terrorists caught? 0. He goes on to say, I have mixed feelings about the numbers, adding 99.999% of the people who had guns confiscated were not going to commit terrorist acts. It doesn't show that the TSA are making tremendous strides, he says. TSA officials declined to comment on the significance of the increased confiscations, but the agency has said in previous reports that it may be due to the continuing rise in the number of weapons Americans are carrying. In a statement to Fox News Monday night, it said, quote, TSA screens approximately 1.8 million passengers and their luggage every day for prohibited items, including weapons and explosive. TSA alerts law enforcement when a firearm is intercepted at a checkpoint. Law enforcement takes possession of the weapons, interviews the passenger, and determines any criminal charges. Now, mind you, folks, you can legally travel with a firearm. There is a certain protocol that you have to go about. You have to check it in, from what I understand, and have it in a locked box. But there is nothing illegal whatsoever about traveling with a firearm. Granted, you go through the proper rigmarole that the airlines and the FAA have provided. The statement added that civil charges can be filed and the passenger could be fined up to $11,000. As of December 17th, 2013, it said the TSA has found approximately 1,700 firearms nationwide. Most of the weapons confiscated in 2013 had gun permits and were found in the carry-on luggage of passengers. The TSA states that guns must be declared to the airline on check-in, must be included with checked luggage, and cannot be brought into the main cabin. And I would argue that they ought to be brought in the main cabin. If we were to go with the official story of 9/11, what if those passengers were carrying a gun? Gun-free zones are the most dangerous place to be. Gun-free zones are probably, well, if you had guns there and guns were allowed, they wouldn't be gun-free zones anymore. But you ought to have a gun in those situations. for the betterment of all law-abiding citizens. This has been your Grope Report. Visit bobtuskin.com for all the most up-to-date news and views.